See a little bit there, I've got terminal brain cancer, but I'm using that against itself to raise the most amount of money ever for running a marathon. Right now I'm actually training with a weight vest to do 32 half marathons in 32 days, all on a live stream. And this is just going to be a diary entry, so if you guys already follow the account, you already know what I'm all about. Trying to get sponsors rather than donations by having a big channel. Everybody who's already subscribed, I'm not going to edit this, I'm just going to post this up as a diary entry because I don't do enough videos like this that I get a wide shot. And so if you could comment what you think, if it's something you want to see again or if it's something that you think is boring, please give me criticism for both sides of the situation, otherwise I won't know what to do. So I just thought I would explain. What I'm doing right now is I'm training for the 32 counties of Ireland, half marathon in each one, carrying this weight vest, which is 32 pounds at the start. And then I'm gonna have donations coming in, but they're gonna be kind of earned donations that are gonna be done through Twitch, which I'm planning on doing as a sort of little reward system. Someone donates a $5 and I do something funny. So it's not essentially just a donation, because I'm really against that. I want to try and break the world record in a very unique way. Every time we reach a certain marker, I'm going to add another pound of weight, which will hopefully every 32 days inevitably end up as 32 kilos by the very last day. The very last day is going to be a community run that I'm going to invite loads of people to participate in. So it's like everything is panning together and is all directly related to the next, and the previous thing boosts the thing that precedes it, which is currently what I'm doing, where I'm doing 30 days of the greatest hits of all the videos that I previously uploaded over the course of my sort of social media career. The ones that did really well, except I'm condensing them into a 30-day time period where every single day at the magic time of 34 minutes past 12, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 on a digital clock, I upload one of the old videos, and it's going really well. And so the whole idea of it is that those greatest hits go on, which will lead directly one day of the difference between when the last of the 30-day greatest hits thing, and then the next day I start the first half marathon of the 32-day thing. Now, one of the reasons why I'm doing the 32-day thing is, one, because I previously did it a couple of years ago. I didn't do it live streaming though. I just did half marathons, but I was trying to run them. And then I ended up hurting my knee a bit and I wasn't able to run them anymore. So I was hiking and I was cycling as a way to compensate for not being able to do the proper half marathon runs. And that really annoyed me. So I want to try and come back and do it again. Now I know I'm doing something different, but I'm still doing it again in my own way. The live stream, however, this is the thing that kind of made me want to do it again this year, is I looked up what the longest charity live stream is ever, and it's 32 days. And once I learned that it was 32 days, I was like, okay, I'm going to redo the 32 counties thing again. I'm going to do the 32 live stream and all that sort of stuff that will hopefully back the other things up. And then I am going with the New York Marathon, having technically broken a charity world record, regardless of how much is actually sort of raised during that time period. It's all about how long. And I'd like to think that having that kind of on my CV, on my resume, that I've broken a charity world record, will kind of add to more sponsorships coming in, which is the whole goal. So I know this video is very, very amateur, and that's kind of why I want your feedback. I want your honest critique of this situation, because on the one hand, if I don't have, I mostly edit on CapCut, which is designed for TikTok and Instagram, and so I almost kind of lose my editing enthusiasm to do YouTube as well, even though YouTube is actually the one that's the most valuable in terms of getting sponsorship. I have the 30-day challenge thing. The greatest hits is going terrific. TikTok is up to 5.7 million followers. Instagram is nearly 7.4. If that was to be on YouTube, I'd have sponsors left, right and center. This world record would have been broken ages ago. So yeah, critique whether you want to see more of these videos, if this is actually going to get more people to subscribe to the channel, or if you kind of think like, you know, no Ian, come on, you do really good edits on the Instagram and on TikTok, and you know, have done really well because of the extra time and effort that you've put in, whereas this one is all over the place and it doesn't really have enough of a structure. That sort of information is very helpful. Or you could go, if it is your true opinion, or you could be like, you know, no, it's actually really cool to kind of have this, like, you know, almost like it's a conversation that you'd be having with me if I was in the park and you were like just like one of my mates and we were going on a dog walk together. And it's like, I don't know, that's actually really kind of interesting to have that inside perspective. But yeah, please let me know. Now, there's actually a couple of other little interesting bits with what's going on at the moment that I thought I would speak about. One of them in particular was like the 32 things about the actual progress with it. TikTok, the algorithm for TikTok isn't great. It's sometimes it's okay, sometimes it'll play ball, sometimes it won't. It still had a very significant increase. I suppose it only sounds not as amazing when compared to Instagram, and so it's increased by I think 300,000 people, 300,000 new followers, 300,000 new people on the team, people who want to say cure the cancer. Oh, maybe I'll have to censor that because YouTube is meant to be hypersensitive for using words that are on the naughty list, so maybe I'll make the point of editing that out. I'll end this video so I can know the time marker. There's some editing tips for you there. If you know there's a problem with something, start and start again, so you don't have to go rooting around in the middle of it. That's the progress on TikTok. Now, if you really want to be impressed, YouTube is up by more than 1 million, and that happened in 8 days. And this is going to sound arrogant, I assure you it's not, but I am not surprised by that. I wasn't 100% expecting it. I wouldn't have been let down if it didn't happen, but I'm not surprised at all, because this is the second time that I've done this greatest hits thing, and the first time I did it, it was without a doubt the most successful social media kind of thing I've ever done. Never mind like any of the big kind of physical endeavors, like, oh, I did 5 marathons, 5 of the major marathons in 1 year. That didn't have, like, it had a positive effect, but it did not have anything close to the level of positivity in terms of new followers and new sponsors coming in as the greatest hits last year did. I think that one doubled the entire, across the board, the amount of followers that I have on sort of every social media platform doubled in size. I think I went from like 6 million across everything, across Instagram and TikTok, to just over 12 million. So to do it again this year, expecting 1 million increase in followers, it was like, yeah, if last time it was, you know, 6 million, getting 1 million isn't crazy. The thing that I'm focusing on the most is obviously being able to do this. Right now I'm actually walking my first half marathon with the weight. I feel it's pretty good. My shoulder is very sore. That's definitely going to be the biggest problem, and that's not a surprise to me either. Something that I've kind of alternated to ease that off is because it's a weighted vest, all the pressure comes in on the shoulders here. Now I've got a damaged, well, not damaged, but like I popped my collarbone out when I was a teenager, and it's never really bothered me, but this is kind of quite painful. So something that I'm thinking about doing is if I put a sponge or something that puts more pressure on my right shoulder, that might be a way to deal with the issue. And then the other one is I've made a kind of a weight belt for myself, which was kind of hard to find. I had to make it myself. Loads of weight vests exist, but weights for a belt, they're extremely expensive. They're either stuff for like divers, scuba diving endeavors and stuff like that, or it's just really, really light weights that aren't going to be significant enough, because we've got to get up to 32 kilos, or at least 32 pounds, which is roughly 15 kilos. So it's just significant enough. What I had to do is I got like a fanny pack, which is handy to have on a run or any kind of venture like this anyway. So I'll have like a big pocket that I can put battery packs or water, anything like that, because the live streaming itself is going to be very difficult, because what I'm doing right now is kind of what I'm going to have to do the whole time. And this is fine for, 20 minutes, but like even just holding my arm out, because a half marathon itself while walking, it'll be about 5 hours, I'd say. And something that is already coming up is the way I'm holding this camera. Every so often I keep tapping one of the side buttons and the camera stops working, so that could end up being quite the nightmare very, very quickly if the whole thing is about doing a non-stop Twitch live stream for 32 days and it just gets knocked off by my hand pressing a button unintentionally. That's kind of the diary entry. So if you're new to the thing, that'll be a big thing. If you are brand new to kind of finding out about what my whole sort of life goal is, and this is the first video that you're watching, your criticism, your honest criticism, is by a mile the most valuable, because the people who already follow the account, thank you all, you're all great, but oh wait, I'm gonna have to censor that again. You're all just lovely, great, but people who are new, they're the ones that we need to add up as many subscribers as humanly possible, because big channels, they attract the sponsorships, and the sponsorships, I get them to donate. So that's how I want to break the world record. So if you're new, please, honest critique of, if you think this diary entry that's been very poorly edited to the minimum amount, because that's the thing that takes up my most time. And if it's something that you think is interesting and you like it, please let me know. If you think that it's bad, again, please let me know. Tell me what's wrong, tell me what you don't like, because with that information, it means that the next time I'm out walking my dog or just sort of sitting at my desk, hey, you should do it with bullet points. Be a bit more concise. You don't have to plan your talk too much. Just kind of get to the point a lot quicker. Try not to repeat yourself. Little stuff like that, that is helpful. Or if you're just like, no, come on, do a proper edit, have other kind of overlays come in, and, you know, work on your lighting, even though this would probably be a bad example because that's quite a nice little sunset there. Looks like the Serengeti out here. But I mean, like, oh, British summer, the great British summer. It's always cold in England. It's definitely not really hot. It's definitely not very hot and very humid, because the climate change doesn't exist. That's all fake. Anyway, if you want to say Foxtrot Oscar to cancer, subscribe to the channel, even if you don't particularly think that this video is good, because that's my whole mission. My whole mission is to use my own cancer against itself to break a charity world record by running a marathon. But ideally I want to try and do it by not getting donations, because a world record can be broken. If I had to break the next person's world record, someone else can come along and do that to me. But if I am the first person ever to break a charity world record by not asking for donations, by asking people to follow an account and then donating all the money that I get from sponsorships, that is eternal. No one can beat first. First is first forever. If you can tell me who's the third person on the moon, you know, good on you. Very few people could. Very few people could even say who the second person is. Most people could probably have a guess. He's the guy who's famous for punching some guy in the face who said he was not on the moon, and the moon landing was fake. That'd be the most recent thing that this gentleman is known for. But that's my point. I don't care about the money. I care about leaving a legacy or being something that is really cool. And that means that it's eternal. The first person ever to do this. And I just think that's amazing. And that's what I want to sort of spend every moment of my life achieving, is to come to the conclusion that I have been the first human being to ever do that.